Today's video is about pride, and specifically how it gets used in a parent-child dynamic, and why I'm starting to think that this is problematic, at least for me, and I'm really trying to be less proud of my kids. And we'll dive into that in this video. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and I'm on a mission to eradicate loneliness. And one place I look for it is in my relationship with my children. I don't want them to ever feel lonely inside our relationship. Parenting is already a very lonely thing, and I'm a grown-up and I can deal with that, but I don't want them to feel that way. I want them to feel seen and loved and connected. Well, pride might make them feel that way in the moment that we are saying we're proud of them, but what happens when that's not present? There's potential that they will then feel disconnected and lonely and unseen. And I don't want that. So I've been thinking about this word. Where this started for me was with one of my kids. So this was an academic rock star, okay? Like hard STEM classes, really good grades, academic honors and awards and certificates, and just crushing it as a student. And all along the way, starting from when this happened, when he was little, I felt really proud. I didn't realize what that meant at the time. I didn't realize that what that meant was I was attaching his achievements to my sense of how good of a mom I was. It was like very intimately tied to my ego. But I just thought, wow, this kid is really doing amazing, and he's, working hard, and I felt proud of his hard work and proud of everything he was accomplishing. And so this, I was getting fed all the time. My little ego was this pride in his accomplishments was really about me. And this is one of the problems with pride. I'm going to dig into the problems in a second. But what I did is I laid out this path in my brain for what his life was going to look like. It was going to be the college that he most desired, maybe grad school. And I just was going to go just like that. That was not what this child ended up choosing to do. He very authentically asked himself what his pathway was, and this was not it. This was not his journey. And so he didn't choose that path. And at the time, that was first devastating to me because I've attached myself to his accomplishments. And it was humbling as a parent. The reason I am actually so grateful for this experience, this was a turning point for me. I hadn't known how attached I was to not even accomplishment, because there's lots of different ways to accomplish things, but specifically this path until this happened. And I had to detach. I had to confront how not okay that was to care that much and to want to control someone else's life choices. So I'm incredibly grateful for it now because it really changed the way I think about myself as a parent, changed the way I watched my kids go through their pathways, which journeys, whatever they may be. A lot of it had to do with that pride, that word proud. And here are 3 things I think are wrong with that word, or problematic. I don't want you to feel bad if you tell your kids you're proud of them. I'm still doing it and trying to stop myself from doing it. I've been using it willy-nilly without thinking about it my entire parenthood. And actually, when I was a kid, I was trying to make my parents proud. I mean, I remember getting into college when it really didn't matter anymore. When I felt more like I was my own person, I had my own agency, and I was just making myself proud at that point. And it was very liberating. One thing I think is wrong with pride and saying that word to our kids is it's temporary. It's in this moment. And so then the kid has to wonder, okay, how long do I ride that accomplishment before I have to do something else to make my parents proud again? They are running an unending race, leg after leg after leg, because it only lasts for a while. The second thing is that it's just got judgment in it. In it, you can hear this approval. You are doing something I approve of, so I am proud of you. So the flip side of that is, what about when they're doing something that we don't approve of, or they're doing something that is disappointing and we're not proud of? If that is important to them, that feeling of your pride and approval, then it would be devastating for them to go the opposite direction. And what happens when a kid like my son got to a point where he had to make the right choice for him, that was going to be the right journey for him, and he knew that it was going to be disappointing? How much harder are those decisions to make when they're all mixed up with pride and disappointment? We'd be better off to kind of avoid that altogether so that they make their life choices the way they're supposed to. And the last thing is that it's making it about me, right? That word pride means I've got values, I have things I think are important, I have desires I have for you, and when you do the things that all line up with that stuff, then I'm proud. It's not about the kids' choices, it's about mine. So I'm trying to get away from this word for a lot of reasons. I want my kids to go live their life exactly the way it's supposed to be, the way they see their journey, no matter what I think about it. I want them to say, hey, I want to go do that, experience that, achieve that, accomplish that, and I'm going to work, and then get there. That is what I truly want. That's what I think is amazing. It shouldn't matter at all whether I'm proud of it or not. And I want them to feel in the moments when they're doing something that is like not something I would pick for them, I don't want them to feel unseen. I don't want them to ever feel that my love is conditional, and that I don't want them to chase approval instead of just knowing that I'm always there. My love is unconditional. I want them to feel seen at every moment of their lives, not just when they're doing what I want them to do. I want to detach myself from their experience. And so I'm pulling back on that word. It's not that I'm not acknowledging the things that they choose for themselves and then go accomplish and go work really hard for. I'm like happy to acknowledge and see them. I just don't want them to ever feel they have to worry about this connection. I want them to know it is steady. It is unconditional. It does not matter what choice they make. I'll never leave them in the dark. And my approval isn't a reason to drive your life. It isn't a reason, like don't use that as your compass. You've got to find your compass and follow that. If you've said this word a lot, I have said it a ton, that's okay. I think we can get better at that. And the thing underneath it is, if you've attached yourself to the accomplishments of your child, how can you start to detach a little bit so that they can live their life and they can follow their desires? And how can you still be connected and validating and loving in those moments when you feel the least amount of pride? All right, that's what I got for you today. I think it is really important for us as parents to just keep trying to get better, because we're going to be doing this for as long as we're around if we're parents. And if you're using this on friends too, or your spouse or whatever, think about that also. It still applies, that word pride. We can get a little bit better at this. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you don't already. That will get you a notification when my new videos come out, and tells YouTube that we want more people to join us on this mission to eradicate loneliness. And I have a new Substack where I'm doing some writing every week, and you can come join me over there as a free subscriber right now, and you'll have access to all that too. Okay, happy parenting. Best of luck to you. I'll talk to you next time.